a person. You're a cool nigga. Like, I like you.
You ready to start?
Yeah, whenever you're ready. I'm ready. I'm always ready.
How's everybody doing out there tonight? I got a very special guest. The Queen.
That's me.
The woman from around the way. the I've been watching you as a child, you've been watching me as a child.
You made me laugh.
Oh, that was you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, let me introduce, before I go into this topic, let me introduce a very good friend of mine, Miss Mo.
Hi, everybody.
So we got a unique conversation.
You do.
I feel like, I feel like people be moving in the wrong way. And because of that, it leads a lot of misery, bitter bitches and shit like that. Niggas with the hairline, the fuck the always over your hair because they're stressed the fuck out and they don't even know why.
Oh my god! Yes. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like why, dog? Why is she stressing you the fuck out? And it's like she's not supposed to. You know what I mean? You're stressing yourself out trying to do something that you can't or be something that you're not. You know what I mean? So there's a difference between Mr. Right and Mr. Right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But before I get my interpretation, because I think as I'm walking this journey right now in life, you know what I mean?
He makes me laugh, y'all. That's all. Go ahead.
I think that I believe that I could only ask for Miss Right now because I'm a busy dude. You know what I mean? I work a lot. And yeah. So, but I hear a lot of stories. I got a lot of female friends, you know what I mean? Some benefits, but mostly not, you know what I mean? And, but I always pay attention to what a woman has to say because it makes me a better man, you know what I mean? So, before I give you my definition, you know what I mean, and my interpretation, I would like to know yours. What's the difference between Mr. Right and Mr. Right now?
I feel as though Mr. Right is coming with something. He's bringing something to the table. He ain't coming empty-handed. Mm-hmm. He got his own. You don't gotta pay for nothing for him. Mm-hmm. Mr. Right got it all. Mm-hmm. Mr. Right got a job. Mr. Right got his own place, whether it be a house, an apartment. I don't care what he got, a room. Mm-hmm. He got his own. As far as Mr. Right Now is always in your face. Mr. Right Now, he's the nigga that be walking down the street, that be hollering at you. He be hollering at you from the car. And he don't be in the driver's seat, he be in the passenger seat. But he's hollering at you. He's talking to you. And you eating that up. Don't eat that up because that's not what you're worth. You're worth more than that. You sit around and wait for Mr. Oh, I'm here for a second, then you're not going to get nothing but a second of his time. Somebody else is going to grab his attention. So at the end of the day, people are here in your life for seasons. And sometimes people come in and out of your life for a season and you holding them to standards of somebody that's supposed to be there forever. Like Mr. Right. Mr. Right is supposed to be with you forever. He's supposed to be the one. If he ain't the one, then you need to let him know that. Don't settle. A lot of us settle. And I settled plenty of times. I try to change and metamorph people and men into what they supposed to be. For me, no, I was supposed to find Mr. Right from the get-go. And I found people that was only supposed to be here for a season in my life that I was trying to make Mr. Right. Mr. Right gotta have his stuff together before he even steps to me. That's what I learned. And I've been in a relationship for almost 9 years, and I had to walk away. Like,
can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
This is a good question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Ask on.
All right.
I want to hear this.
Yeah,
ask on.
My interpretation is a little bit different.
Ask on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I feel like, all right. Well, first let me give you my interpretation. Okay.
Go ahead.
Difference between Mr. Right and Mr. Right now. You know, but
can I say something before you say that?
Okay.
Now, we may think that Mr. Right is everything we want all the time, right? Sometimes women just want Mr. Right now. Mr. Right now got that D. That's what y'all want. That's not what y'all need. Y'all can get D anywhere. But it's just how you go about it. So go on and proceed, please.
Okay. No. First, let me say, I don't think Mr. Right and Mr. Right now, when women think of that, and I hear women talk about that, all women, I think they think of stability, like financial stability or whatever forms of stability. I think that's the biggest misinterpretation. You know what I mean? I think, like, you know, I think we're adults enough to say, hey, we all made mistakes in life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes in making mistakes, we choose wrong partners. Is that a safe way to saying it? So with that being said,
we choose wrong partners.
Most times when the right person comes along, we're not ready. You know what I mean?
That is
especially
true.
with women, because they go through this celibate stage where it's just like, yo, now you meet a guy that is ready, and he's like, man, this woman's bitter, and exit stage left. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or you meet a guy that is ready, but you're so used to Mr. Right Now tendencies that you don't even know how to treat him. You know what I mean? Or you didn't cover the areas that whatever, so that transaction between you and Mr. Right Now fuck you up for Mr. Right. See, I believe that, you know, Mr. Right Now should actually add a little spice to your life while you're working on yourself for Mr. Right. And I think, like, you know, one thing I'm big on, and anybody that I talk to or associate with is communication. Let a motherfucker know where he stands, and respect where a motherfucker is telling you where you stand at in his life. You know what I'm saying? I think money has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? I think that
absolutely it doesn't. It doesn't have anything to do with what's going on with y'all.
You know what I mean? I think that it's all about energy. Like, yo, if you're dealing with Mr. Right Now, you might have a side in you that you just want to release, and it needs to be released, because if you don't release that, you're going to keep holding that in, and you're going to be like, what the fuck you want to everybody that says hi to you. You know what I mean? Right. I believe that it's going to deter you from Mr. Right Now, because he's going to say, oh man, he's going to go off the stereotype of woman. You know what I mean? Women don't have good stereotypes, nor do men. Men got broke niggas status and all this other shit. So men don't even have good stereotypes. But I believe that when two people entertain each other, and the form is, and the communication is right, where it's just like, yo, hey, we're both in each other's life for a season. I see what you're trying to be. You see what I'm trying to be. We can't do this together because, you know, whatever. But let's make the most of this schedule. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just come with happiness. Don't tell me about, you know, don't tell me about if you're If you're a woman, hey, don't tell me about your baby mom. I don't give a fuck about that bitch. Nigga, you came over here to eat this box and massage these feet. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, vice versa. You know, hey, listen, I don't give two fucks about your baby dad. You know, you came over here to... Because you wanted to put on something sexy and you wanted to you know, take your time with it. You know what I mean? You didn't just want the... You know, the traditional, hey, let me get something before I go to work type of energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's my interpretation. I believe that, like, you know, sometimes when people go through breakups, especially women, they should entertain Mr. Right Now. But, like, the way they entertain it is so fucked up that they set themselves 5 steps back. Like, because you should never be seen with Mr. Right Now. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Right Now knows he has a purpose. And one of the purposes, like you said, big dick energy and all this other shit. But it's also like, yo, a level of energy where it's just like, yo, hey, I'm here in your life to help your life get better. Or give you... Sometimes people need a break. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, hey... I respect a woman's struggle because, you know, just being a mom is not easy. Being a working mom is definitely not easy. It don't make sense.
I know that being a working mom is not easy. I have 5 children.
Okay.
And I have them from ages 19, 17, 7, 4, and 1. Mm-hmm. So I don't have no break. Even when I send the little youngest two to school. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no break for me. I still have my 1-year-old to deal with. And he's still a baby. He still needs certain things that I have to give to him. You know? But, I mean, like you said, like, some people, they don't know how to decipher that.
Yes.
And that's the issue with that. And I personally have been through a relationship that I went through for, like, 9 years, and now I've been separated since Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. So it's been like 2 months. I didn't have sex with nobody this whole entire time, you know? But that was my choice, but, like, I didn't want to rush into nothing. Because if you just go and lay up with the next nigga, you're going to fall in love with the next dick. That's what I say.
So dick runs pussy?
No. Women fall in love with the next dick.
So dick
you
runs
understand?
Pussy.
Huh?
So dick runs pussy.
No, dick does not run pussy. Pussy has power, but these bitches don't know how to use that power. You understand? That's the problem. They don't know their worth.
Okay.
If you know your worth and you know that pussy got the power, because pussy runs everything. Let me tell you something. Because if it wasn't for pussy, you wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for dick, you wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here either. You're right about that. But it's the choices we make in life that makes that difference of who we're going to be with and who we're not going to be with at the end of the day. Now, when we're talking about, you know, Mr. Right and Mr. Right Now, like, who do you want to be with? You want to be with Mr. Right, who's temporary, or you want to be with Mr. Right Now? I mean, who you want to be with Mr. Right or Mr. Right Now? I don't want to be with something temporary. I want something long term. I'm older though.
Okay.
When you're a younger girl, it's different.
I think it's more important. You gotta learn because like okay. Because one thing, and like you know maybe in dealing with older women. Because I'm an old head.
You gotta deal with older women a certain way, and you have to deal with older men a certain way.
I believe in the bitterness. I see it. You know what I mean? And it's like I understand we go through our own personal traumas and shit like that. You know, but I also understand that like yo, hey, you know. People should look in the mirror and realize who they are, and once you realize who you are, then you gotta realize what you deserve, and then you gotta realize what it takes for you to get to what you deserve. And I don't know anybody on a personal level to say, hey, yo, you know what? Let me while I'm working on what I deserve or what I deserve to look in the mirror and see when I look at myself, your only role in this in my life is because, you know, hey, I'm not going to act like you ain't shit, but I'm gonna let you know, yo, this is your role in my life, yo. Listen, I don't care if sometimes it's, you know, Mr. Right Now is not sexual. Sometimes it's just like yo, you know what, man?
Yeah, it don't gotta be sexual.
And we all need a break, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you need somebody to be there for you and show you care.
Because if you bring that trauma into a new relationship, it's not gonna have substance, you know what I mean?
Right.
And same for guys too. Oh man, you know what? Yeah, my last baby mom, she fucked the dude at the club. She met at the club. Well, you know what? Work on yourself, bro. Get your money up. You know, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Get your self-esteem up. Go deal with the chick that go get your fulfillment, or go release your fulfillment on this chick.
I wanted to touch on that too later.
Okay.
Because I have a question about that too.
Okay.
But we're not gonna bring that up right now. Eventually, we're gonna pass that path again, and I'm gonna ask you a question about that.
Okay.
Because I want to know, because I don't know, and I want to understand.
Like,
why is it that a man can do 50 million things bad or wrong to a woman? Why is it okay for y'all to cheat and lie and everything?
Oh, shit.
And no, listen. Why is it okay for y'all to lie, cheat, and everything? And then we forgive you, which is our choice. And I understand that. But we choose to do that. You can lie, cheat, and steal 50 million times. We'll take you back. But as soon as we do one thing, that's like the end of the world for y'all. I want to understand it for my own personal reasons, because this is just what happened to me.
Okay.
He couldn't take it, but he dished it before I even did it.
I'm going to say two things, right? One, sometimes people got to recognize who they are to people. But at the same time, just like you recognize who you are to somebody, you gotta recognize who that person is. Because, like, you know, I try not to do this on the show. I try, like, cause like, I believe in under no circumstance that a woman should cheat. But I also believe that under no circumstance, if
this is out of control, Frank. I'm going to stop you right there. Because, yes, I understand. And look, I did not want to cheat on my husband, but I did. But he had cheated on me 5-6 times prior, and I forgave him.
Wait, see, you didn't let me finish. I also believe that, like, you know, at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, a man got to handle his business. You know what I mean? Before you step out anywhere outside of your domain, if you have a domain. If you're a man, you should have a domain. If you're a man, you
don't got no domain.
A man don't got a domain?
No. He didn't have a domain. Talking about him.
But like,
he didn't have nothing.
You was his domain. Like, so like, I don't want to get too personal. Okay. You know what I mean? But see, if the problem is, like, sometimes people move too sloppy. And part two, you got, I really believe that, like, I want to say this right. You know, just like I criticize women for not moving like a lady, I also try to criticize men for not moving like men.
Right.
And, like, you know, so I don't care. Like, finances have nothing to do with how a man should move. You know what I mean?
No.
Some of the dudes I know with a lot of money, they ain't shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some of the dudes that with no money, they move in a way where it's just like, yo, bro, you know what? You turn down these opportunities because you know your character spoke so much motherfucking volume that it was just like, I'm not going to do people shady. And those people, they don't get honored, they don't get respected. But like but they should, because like characters should mean a lot.
Yeah,
but with that
it
being
should.
with that being said, you know, I do understand the woman's gripe. You know what I'm saying?
It's a gripe, but it's like, no. This is how I see it, right?
Okay.
If
Wait, toast to a good show. My fault. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Hopefully it's a good show.
I'm not good.
I think you're a good host. Let's say that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll be
But
trying.
I feel as though like, if I can forgive you for your 15 mistakes, you should forgive me for my one mistake. It shouldn't be a matter of, oh, this is the end of the world. I feel like it's the end of the world type shit. Like, that's how I feel like you guys feel. And that shouldn't be. Because as much stuff as you put us through, y'all should be able to take it just like you dish it. And not only that, but I'm speaking from my own perspective. My husband left me for 3 years. I was faithful to him for 2.5 years. At the end of his bid, that's when I messed up. Not because I wanted to, because I could not see him. I didn't have the interaction with him. If I would have still had an interaction with him, none of that shit would have happened. But he left us. We didn't leave him. I was still there picking up phone calls and shit and sending money.
Now, alright.
So what was the problem?
Okay. Now, I just did a show. Right?
And I cut it off before he came home, so I don't understand. He went searching for this information. If you search for some, you're going to find something you don't like.
Okay.
You could have let it go.
I'm a school it. You ready? And, you know, I'm far scared from any nigga. You know what I'm saying?
I could have married him. He was like, this first day out, are you ready to get married? No, I'm not ready to get married. No, you know why? Because I know I did wrong. So I'm going to give you that opportunity to see my flaw. If you see it, then that's on you. If you don't see it, then we could work through some shit. But he caught it. And it is what it is. But at the end of the day, he chose to stay.
Okay.
He could have left then.
Okay. I feel like, right? See, sometimes, it's hard for me to speak on certain situations, so I don't.
You gotta speak on it. You've been in jail, nigga.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Like,
but like, you know,
just get
my jail experience was different from a lot of people. I did not. My 9 years, I was not getting mail. So, but
he wasn't getting mail. He was getting phone calls. He was calling me all the time.
I didn't get that.
How was I supposed to? He was like, "Why ain't you sending me letters?" And I'm like, you're calling me 5-6 times a day. What am I going to say in a letter that we haven't already talked about on the phone? But it was just the point. It was just the fact that if he got a letter.
See, now, in situations like that, I feel like the conversation should have been different. Because, like, you know, I know, like, I just did a show with a dude that he came home after doing 15 years.
That's hard.
His last 2 years, he got married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he came home and he put it the fuck down.
That's
good. While he was locked up, he was working on how to be a better man. And
that's what they need to do.
You know what I mean? And I 100% agree. So sometimes we occupy people. Allow people to occupy each other's space without working on themselves, and it's like I feel like, where was the conversation at? Like, was it like, yo, hey, what books are you reading? What's this and that? Even though, you know, because I'm being a mom right now, nigga. What are you reading? You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, like I said, I can only speak on this brother because he did 15 years. You know what I mean?
That was a long time.
And now when I speak to him, and you know, he's my best friend, even though he lives down in, he's my brother, even though he lives down in Georgia and shit like that. Every time I speak to him, his voice is like, yo, I'm about my family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I wanted.
He don't step outside his relationship. You know what I mean?
That's what I wanted.
And like eventually I'm gonna have his wife on the show. I gotta, that ain't cheap. You know, to bring both up here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's a moral compass. You know what I mean? And it's just like sometimes we gotta, like, I remember like just the summer. You know what I mean? Me personally. You know what I mean? I was dealing with a breakup, and I had to tell a woman, yo, you ain't good for me, yo.
Right.
I'm like, you're a hassle. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, listen, man, I'm trying to do something only fucking 10% of 20% of America actually sees.
Right, but that wasn't me. Yeah. Just to clarify, for everybody, that wasn't me.
But at the same time, there was the threat. Like, yo, listen, hey, you're doing all this time. What books are you reading? Right. Yo, what certifications? Because you can't come out to the same habits and shit like that. And like, was you reading the letters or the whatever to say, hey, oh, he loves me, or was you reading the letters to say, hey, yo, he's trying to be a better man? Yo, the first time, and I'm gonna get personal. The first time I wrote my mom. Excuse me. Let me backtrack. I wrote my mom when I was in the county. Mm-hmm. Then I went 3 years without writing my mom. Right. You know what I mean? Because, I was in the federal system, so it was a little bit different. They investigate and they harass people that you talk to. So then I felt comfortable writing my mom. My mom sent me a letter back and said, you need to call me. And she said, yo, I never heard you speak like that in all my years on this, since she was in like the 6th grade. She's like, you're speaking proper. And in the first conversation, like, yo, you're speaking proper, you're doing this, you're doing that, whatever. Because I was working on my you know what I mean?
You was working on self, which you should have been. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want these young black men to know. When you get locked up and you go through that whole traumatizing ordeal, you need to work on self. Don't worry about what's going on out here.
Yes.
Everything that was happening before you got locked up is still happening when you're locked up. You need to focus on you so you can be a better man for your children, for just
your community.
Your community, everything. Mm-hmm. When you come out, you should be a better person for you, period. And you should be, once you get right with yourself, you can get right with everybody.
Yeah, cash out story?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is.
That's what I want. I want my baby's dad to see that.
This is a stone. Do that. This is a stone in my motherfucking heart. So I know this white dude when I was locked up, and he was getting visits every month from his mother. You know what I mean? And one time he said, and me and him, we got along, but we really didn't. It was like a little competition because he was like, he felt intimidated by me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's like, yo, okay. Because he felt intimidated by me on many levels. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, but everybody else embraced me, but he felt intimidated. But he said something that fucked my head up. You know what I mean? And it was me, him, like 6 New Yorkers, 3 dudes from Chicago, 2 dudes from Los Angeles. Both was Crips, you know what I mean? And I think he was from somewhere in the West Coast.
Yeah.
And now this is Western Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh and everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he said something that like really fucked me up. You know what I mean? And he said this about the black community. He said, yo, look. He said, I hear your stories. I do. You all did it to survive. Y'all got that survival mentality. He said, I did what the fuck I want when the fuck I wanted. I don't give a fuck that this person died off of meth. You know what I mean? That was his case. Right. He was pushing the meth heavy. You know what I mean? he said about, you know what I mean? But he was on meth too, so he, you know, he stole from his mom. He did this from his mom and everything. Right. And he literally said out his motherfucking mouth, said, "Do you know the difference between me and you? It's not because of race. It's because my mom loved me." He was getting visits every other month, if not every month. And, you know, so think about the airplane trip, the hotel, and this and that. And he said, like, I done stole from my mom. I done did this and I done did that. He said, y'all community, y'all don't love each other. He's like, yo, he's like, but Joe, he said, I'm probably going to get out and I'm going to smoke more meth. I ain't gonna sell it no more. Right. At first I'm like,
that fucked you up, right?
How dare you speak to the black community like that? Right. Like, and shit like that. And I watched a New York dude like cry because he didn't have no visits, and he did 20 years. Like, and I didn't have no visits, and I did 9. I did. Excuse me. I had one visit when I was in the county from some Spanish women, but like, oh yeah, well, like,
I am so over you. You always come out with some shit, but go ahead.
But like he said that, and he's like, and like, I used to, like, there's this thing in prison called extra duty, right? So like, when I got caught with something I'm not supposed to, like contraband. Like the COs was real calculated. They know like who get visits, who runs their family, who doesn't. You know what I mean? So they know how to punish a person. You see, you could put a guy like me in a hole, and they'd be like, okay, no problem. I just chill in a hole and read these books and whatever, because it's nothing to me. But they said, nah, we're not going to send you to the hole. We're not even going to take away your good time. We're going to make you clean the visiting room during visits. So that means when somebody, wife or mother comes visit them and they bring the children and shit like that, I have to see that. And that's the only thing that hurt it while I was in prison. The riots did not hurt. You know what I mean? If you see my arms, I still got stab marks and shit like that. You know what I mean? And but that's the only thing that hurt it. It's like, so many people getting love in the worst time, and like, and like that was like, you see the CO, he's smiling because he knew how to hurt me. You know what I mean? And of course, it doesn't matter when you're in jail. The first thing you prioritize is trying to get out.
Right.
But like, with all that being said, it's like, we have to, me speaking to the brothers I spoke to, and like, whether I look at them as brothers or uncles, I look at them, for guidance and shit like that. And the one thing they taught me is that, we're all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we're fucked up. I done spoke to some of the richest black men in the world, you know what I mean? And they're just as fucked up as this low-level crackhead that whatever. And so I never really let those visits. I learned how to be happy for people. You know what I mean? As a child, I was not happy for people. I used to put the pressure on my mom. Bro. They got the Sega. Why don't I got the Sega? My mom rushed to get the motherfucking Sega and shit like that. You know what I mean? And
I gotta touch on that too.
Okay, well, please go ahead.
It's hard, especially when you have so many children. I know your mom had a lot of kids.
Yes.
And I have 5 children. So when I had 2 children, it was a lot easier to like get them what they wanted and stuff like that. And when I had more children, their little pots started getting less and less and less every year that I had a child. So they sometimes feel resentment from that.
It can be, because I'm one of the oldest of my mom's kids, right? And I remember I had my first show was with my cousin. And I said, yo, listen, man, I knew I was dirty, but I never felt poor.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is like something I choose to apologize to towards that city. That, because, sometimes I get flack of why you moved out the hood and shit like that. And it kind of hurts, you know what I mean? And... it may not hurt for you, but like,
I mean, I live in the hood, so I don't really care about where I live. I always said it's not about where you live; it's about what's going on inside of your home.
But like,
so it's not what's going on outside of your house. It's what you make of inside of your house. So you keep that steady home inside of your house, you'll be fine. But then I've realized what's going on outside of my house is affecting my children. You know, because they're going outside seeing this. So I want to get them out of here.
No. This is where I feel the burden of apologizing to that neighborhood. You know what I mean? Because like, I remember when I was a child, you know what I mean? I had Turk, Muslim, Thai, every counselor at the boys club always on me.
You had a lot of support. Yes,
So
that's how it was then.
And I chose not to support. You know what I mean? That's my birth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, hey, you know what? It's nothing to teach me to teach a fucking 13-year-old kid how to use a power drill. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me teach you how to fix your mom's house so when you get your own house, you know what I mean? Whatever. So like that's my personal gripe that I'm battling with.
We don't have that no more.
Well,
no, we don't have that no more, and the kids don't want to learn that.
That's where
that's
it's like
the sad part.
I didn't want to learn either.
You didn't want to learn, but you had people like on you.
Yeah.
You had the whole community on you.
Yeah.
You had your neighbors on you.
Yeah.
You had your mom on you.
Yeah.
You had your stepdad on you. You had the boys club on you. You had other people on the outside. Your teachers and stuff cared. Now everybody's falling back because these kids, they're out of control.
You think?
Do I think?
I don't know. See,
teenagers.
See, like, you know, like,
it's out of control. They don't want to listen. They don't want to learn. They don't want to be taught. They think they know everything.
Ooh. See, that this is hard because, like, for me to take in because, like, if you know how most people think of their mom, the first thing they think of is love. First thing I think of my mom is fear. The second thing was respect. The third thing was love. You know what I mean? And I believe, like, you know, I don't know if you know my cousin, but I always steal his quote, like, a black woman should be by her children should be feared, respected, and loved in that order. So, like, you know, I don't know. I feel like the only thing different now is that we're not neighborly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that shit is out the door.
That's the only thing.
Man, I remember that, man.
Like, you know,
they don't got that now. Cause I'm not knocking on my neighbor's door saying, "Hey, your kids did this," or whooping their ass and taking them to you. I'm not doing that. Like, I don't give a fuck what your kids are doing. To be honest, me personally, at this time, I don't care what your kids are doing because when I come to your kids and tell them they're doing wrong, they're disrespectful to me. And then I gotta get confrontational with your child, and then I'm confrontational with you.
Ooh. See, and that's where I have
instead of you just correcting your child and knowing that they're wrong.
But that's where I'm confused at. Like, you know, and I know we're getting off
There's
topic.
blurred lines.
Yeah,
now.
like, yo, why don't people love their kids the same? I'm not saying, you know,
they love their kids. They love their kids to the point where they're spoiled. You come to somebody with their, hey, come knock on somebody. Bring Jimmy over here. Jimmy did this. Guess what the parents are going to say? What did you do to my kids? What did you do to Jimmy?
The parents or just the mother?
No, the mother, the father, whatever. They're going to be ready to fight you over Jimmy doing some dumb shit. Not even directly to you. He could have just been doing some stuff and you stopped him from getting in trouble. But at the end of the day, now you're in trouble. It's like kill the messenger.
Oh, wow.
Like, I can't. Back in the day, I done did some shit. I done broke into people's houses up the street from my house. I was like in fucking elementary school, and my neighbor would be like, "Oh, you did this." Take me over to my parents' house and be like, "Hey, she broke into this house right here. Somebody moved out. She broke into the window, whatever." I'm getting my ass whooped.
Yeah. See, that is that.
Or they're whooping my ass, and then I'm getting my ass whooped at home. They don't got that now.
See, but this is like because people like, cause like one thing I learned, and like you know what I mean. Abuse come in many forms.
Exactly.
And like, but like you know, I tell
Oh
women.
my God, abuse. Oh gosh.
I tell women.
Can we take a break?
Okay.
Please, let's take a break.
Let's refill the drinks.
Because I have to like come back to this because it's